What is the trashiest thing somebody has done at your family Thanksgiving? Grandma threatened to poop in the turkey if we didn't let her watch Jeopardy! Edit. One of my most upvoted comments is about my grandma pooping in turkey. What the frick? My aunt, uncle, and cousins make no food and take 90% of it home. Edit. They also get there late and leave first. My aunt decided to announce she got the clap as we started to eat, and my grandmother told her getting stuff by random people is for turkeys. I laughed really hard. My stepbrother was just released for possession and distribution. Total black sheep of the family. Brings his girlfriend who is in space and out of her mind. They proceed to eat nothing but turkey and rolls. Then she decided to go rug up in my step-aunt's bathroom, to where we found her passed out. My stepbrother attempts to wake her up by punching her. In his words, the Kuta cops are called. The woman my cousin had just married stole a Costco-sized box of individually wrapped Cheez-It packages from our garage. I just happened to notice they were gone when putting food in the fridge. Asked about it publicly and she locked up, started stuttering, and went to get them out of her car. She returned with the excuse, "I thought these were mine. I have a box just like them at home." We were hosting a young lady my wife worked with, as well as her boyfriend. Halfway through dinner and somehow the discussion got to how her and her brother once got super trashed on Robitussin, and next thing you know yeah, that was really a weird time. Everyone just got really quiet as we were trying to decide how to fill that one in and where to go with it. For some reason they got really quiet after that. Hey, quick question, what the frick? My uncle poured Crown Royal on his turkey and ate it. Marinating meat is important. She was responsible for bringing the dessert. She showed up 3 hours late, and instead of bringing dessert she brought an open bag of frozen pierogi. It was a real downer. My uncle boomed the TV because of how the Lions were playing. This was back in 77 or 78. Edit. Checking game histories, it would definitely have been 77. It was a 17-inch black and white TV, with two knobs, one for VHF channels and one for UHF. He and my dad had started drinking early and the Lions were awful. After a bad play late in the game he strolled into the bedroom, picked up his revolver and boomed the TV. We ate dinner shortly after and then went to my grandma's house to watch the Cowboys game. My uncle brought a woman other than his wife. She was crazy, a practicing witch who would divine things about us on the spot, and ironically accused my other uncle of having an affair. She got drank and grabbed me in the coat closet, then tried to kiss me, saying, "If only I were young again." I was 16. She was trying to steal your youth by kissing you. I swear that was in some movie I've seen. One of my aunts found out her husband was sleeping with her brother. She found one of her husband's shirts, from a vacation they took, with juice on it in her brother's bedroom when she went to the bathroom. I wasn't surprised though, to be honest. My Aunt Janie took a bunch of xylophones, and who knows what else, on top of a jug of Carlo Rossi that she had hidden in her room. She then proceeded to steal every spoon in the house while the rest of us were drinking and playing games. Every single spoon. We found them in her purse. Why just the spoons? My mother told our aunt to help herself to some leftovers and she took a 4/5 full bottle of $350 whiskey. She got all Ed out on it and claimed to have accidentally grabbed it. LMAO sweetie, no big deal. She returned it half full, so either she chugged some in the car or dumped some out in spite. Mother-in-law announces halfway through dinner that she is taking the rest of the turkey home. The turkey we bought and cooked. Before she leaves she runs to the bathroom and leaves smelling like she pooped herself. Sister-in-law goes into the bathroom and is in there forever. She comes out and asks who was in there before her. I answer, "Your mother." She goes, "Oh, that was the most disgusting thing I ever saw. Don't worry, I cleaned it up." To this day she refuses to say what she saw, but the bathroom was spotless. Faked a heart attack. It was very surreal. And her husband was so embarrassed. Edit. Here's what happened. Grandmother didn't like my dad very much, and she picked a fight with him, so he decided that he was going home. When Grandmother M realized that my stepmom, her daughter, was going to take Dad's side and go home too, she yelled a lot and then, as a last-ditch effort, dramatically clutched her chest and collapsed very carefully. It was outside and I guess she didn't want to bump her head or muss her clothes. Dad offered to call 911, Grandfather said it wasn't necessary, and when Grandmother realized no one was taking her seriously she opened her eyes, allowed Grandfather to help her up, and went inside with him while fake sobbing. Normally she was quite nice, but she had her moments and really wasn't happy that her daughter had grown up and had a life. Holidays usually brought out the worst in her. Which was weird because she loved cooking and celebrating. Holy moly, my grandma did this at Christmas a couple years ago. She has been banned from Christmas ever since. We have a tradition where we always eat crepes Christmas morning. My mom and I probably spent 2 days in the kitchen making 3 different types of crepes, crepe casseroles, a whole bunch of yummy things. My grandma helped us make them, and this has been a tradition for years. Come Christmas morning and everyone comes downstairs to open presents. We are all opening presents, and someone notices my grandma is going crazy around in the kitchen. We go over to see what she's doing, and it turns out she's decided that our crepe breakfast wasn't good enough and she threw it all out. Instead, she was going to make the breakfast she wanted, large stuffed French toast. My mom got super upset with her, and at breakfast everyone made a point to only eat the crepes we had scavenged. My grandma then proceeded to fake a heart attack because we were being so mean to her. She fell to the floor clutching her chest, screaming she couldn't breathe and someone needed to go get her sleep apnea machine so she could get oxygen. Literally everyone just pretended not to notice and kept eating breakfast. She didn't talk to anyone for the rest of her week-long stay, and hasn't been allowed at family events since. My uncle and grandfather don't have a good relationship, but were tolerating each other because Thanksgiving. My uncle was cooking lasagna, and my grandfather decided to help, so he grated the cheese. He did this in another room, because the kitchen was full of other people cooking. We have a big Thanksgiving, maybe 15 to 20 who love to eat. I had brought in the cheese and everything was going fine. Flash forward to dinner time, the food is coming out and as tradition dictates we always start with lasagna. My grandfather made some joke like, "I know you hate me, but at least I'm great," and it hit the fan. My uncle literally went into a rage, and was yelling at everyone because we didn't tell him he was using tainted cheese. Then said, "Frick it," and proceeded to flip the table all the food was on. Then my grandfather called him outside to settle the score, which resulted in 2 grown men fist fighting in the backyard, culminating with my granddad getting thrown into the pond we lived off of, and slicing his leg on a jagged rock that he landed on. The rest of us ordered Chinese food, and kicked my uncle out, and my grandfather refused the hospital because he had a little too much holiday joy in him at the time. Surprising, my uncle hasn't come to holidays in years now. The "I'm great" line should have been solid enough to break any norm grudge. That's just gold. My brothers got into a fight. My oldest brother slept with my younger brother's new wife, who was like 20 years younger than him. They got into a fist fight and broke through the wall of their dad's trailer. The police had to be called. And that's why I stopped going to family evening. This was by no means an unusual occurrence, just the first thing that came to mind. This sounded shocking until you said they broke through the wall of a trailer. Then it all made sense. My aunt was sent to bed because she was too drunk last year and ended up falling down the stairs an hour later when she tried coming back. This made me laugh, like the force of the food was calling her no matter what. This isn't an isolated thing, but if someone doesn't show up for Thanksgiving or Christmas we automatically check the inmate records at the county jail. It's happened a few times that someone's absence is accounted for by an arrest or jail stay. Edited to add, in 2016 my brother was a no-show for Christmas and we checked the jail's website. We saw our unique last name on their roster and assumed he'd been arrested. Turns out it was my uncle. I never did ask my brother where he was that year. We were hosting Thanksgiving and prepared all the food ourselves, and my mom spent all morning cooking and baking. My aunt, uncle and cousins arrive right before dinner and walk in with a White Castle case and said they just stopped to eat a few minutes ago. We had prepared Thanksgiving just for them and they decided that they wanted White Castle instead. My uncle, who was hiding in Haiti for years during the baby doc days, snuck into the country somehow and showed up for Thanksgiving. Not 45 minutes later a bunch of federal agents busted in and took him away. I was maybe 11 or 12, no one ever explained the whole story to me. Edit, I talked to mom as I drove her to my sister's house. They prosecuted him under the RICO Act for moving money in and out of Haiti for baby doc. According to my mom, I didn't see him much, and this happened when I was young. He was ridiculously intelligent, but was crooked from day one. He moved millions of dollars around while the people were struggling to eat. He was absolutely one of those people that worked harder at avoiding work than actually doing anything of any use to society. They searched the house too, and took all my dad's pizza. He was an avid deer and pheasant hunter, and he didn't get them back for over a year. I do remember him getting a new deer rifle about that time, but like I said, I was young and had the attention span of a gnat. My aunt got drank and then got into her birthday suit. She ran down the street stark in her birthday suit after hitting on my cousin's boyfriend. Her kids saw it all. They were all under the age of 12. She then cried the whole next day because everyone was mad at her. I called CPS because she tried driving drunk with the kids. A few weeks later she got drunk at the same house by the pool. She lost balance when she stepped into the pool filter. She first hit the pool but caught herself with the hand that was holding the glass beer bottle. The shards of glass bottle ended up inside of her cheek and neck. After hitting the ground and passing out, she rolled into the pool and would have died if others hadn't fished her out. She is still a cow lover. She's not invited to Thanksgivings anymore because she now does rug. He ha 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 he. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to Reddit Said It. Or don't. I'm not your boss.